Do you think that boys should be allowed to play girl sports with girls?
There are more allegations of against Trump from different victims than there is people who are trans in the NCAA. Is there something wrong with, like, me supporting my girlfriend right now, like, while she's in between getting work?
No,
No, okay, so why would it be wrong if I were doing the same?
because you're a man.
To clarify, am I more of a man than you because I pay for 100% of the bills?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Absolutely.
Okay, why so?
How old are you?
I am 23 years old.
23. Have you graduated college yet?
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. What'd you get a degree in?
Economics.
Awesome. What are you using that for?
What am I using it for? These lives.
Mhm. These lives.
Yeah,
Wow. Did you take out student loans for that degree?
I did not.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect.
My girlfriend did. Is
Oh,
there
you
anything wrong
said
with that?
yeah, but you did not. Wait, your girlfriend took out loans for your degree?
No, for her own degree. Is there something wrong with
No, I'm
that?
talking about your degree.
Yeah, my degree I didn't have to take out loans for.
With what? No, okay, that's cool. No, that's awesome. That's not a big waste of money. That's great.
It wasn't. I use the information all the time.
Yeah.
It's very,
So
very,
have
very
you
relative to my, job.
okay. All right. So who did you vote for?
Kamala Harris.
Really? Can you give me and why did you do that?
Yeah,
Like
so
what were your reasonings for that?
yeah.
Just because you didn't like Trump or is it because okay, gotcha.
Well, it's both that Donald
Go ahead.
Trump.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. It's both that Donald Trump had bad character and bad policy, along with the fact that Kamala Harris and the Democrats, offered better policy. Like, I can give specifics if you'd like.
And what policies were those?
For a
Yeah,
great
that'd be cool.
great question. Inflation Reduction Act, CHIPS and Science Act, PACT Act, the infrastructure bill that was bipartisan. Those are good examples.
Those are terrible examples.
Well, why so?
Well, if you would do your research and like actually look into those, they would kill our country. It'd be terrible.
They would kill our
Well, let
country?
me ask you this.
All of those
So,
all of those were passed.
yeah,
So they
well,
did
let me
kill the
ask you one.
country?
I know this is way off topic, but let me ask you one thing. I saw you the other day, and I just want to ask you this one question. Do you think that boys should be allowed to play girl sports with girls?
But before we can talk about that, but before we pivot to that,
Biological
can I
boys.
address what we were
Yeah,
saying?
no, 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 no. I don't have time. No, no, I don't really have a lot of time. I was watching you the other night, and I was wanting this. I wanted to ask you this question. Do you think that biological boys should be able to play sports with biological girls?
Nice pivot, but I will address it. I will address it, but I want you to go back to what we were talking about. Can you at least clarify that you're gonna
Okay,
do that?
we can. Yeah, we can. Yeah. We can do that.
Okay. Well, I do think that people who have gone through multiple years of HRT and or didn't go through a male puberty absolutely should be allowed to play in sports, as there is no good evidence indicating that there's such a biological advantage that it would be unfair. There's just no good evidence. And also, like, there are more allegations of against Trump from different victims than there is people who are trans in the NCAA competing.
I like how you tried to turn that, but that's funny. All right. Well, I just wanted to know your opinion.
Well, I'm
But
at,
no,
well,
that's not true.
here's my question. Why should there be a limiting of trans kids who have not gone through male puberty playing in women's sports?
But you're not okay. So do you remember the swimmer from a couple years ago in the Olympics where he walked in there and was
Don't use the
and
wrong
like
pronouns, but
changing in front of the women
what?
and
Wait, so to clarify,
they're wrong for no, he has a
you would have a problem with someone who has a walking into the changing rooms, right,
Yeah.
of like girls or
Of
women
women.
without their consent,
Yes.
right? Like you wouldn't vote for someone who did that, right?
Well, keep going.
I'm just asking, you wouldn't vote for someone who did that, right?
No, keep going. Because no, no, I'm gonna no, keep going. No, finish your statement.
Yeah, that was it. You wouldn't vote for someone who did that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, you weren't done. No, you weren't done. No,
Right.
I'm not gonna. No, I would not vote for someone who acted like a female and went into a female dressing room and got naked in front of them. Absolutely not. I would not vote for someone like that. And that's not what President Trump
So,
ever
so,
did.
so to clarify, anyone with a penis that walks into the changing
So
rooms,
no, I'm
what's that?
of females with females. They're a weirdo,
And you wouldn't vote for them.
and they get naked in front of them. They're a weirdo.
Okay, so only if they get naked.
Yeah. So give me an example.
So to clarify,
Are you,
if they go in
okay.
there to inspect the women without their consent, or the teenage girls without their consent, right?
Well,
Would
I
you vote
keep
for them?
telling you, finish your statement. You're wanting to bring something up. Finish your statement.
I did. Donald Trump was literally someone who did that. He walked into the changing rooms of girls in Miss USA because he quote unquote owns the place to inspect them without their consent. He is the guy who did that. If you cared about those types of things, you wouldn't have voted for the guy who did that.
That's not what happened. Did he take his out in front of them?
Does that matter?
Right. Well, they weren't naked.
Also, Donald Trump is held civilly liable of
They were in their
he.
dresses.
I just want to clarify, Ty. You saying that Donald
No,
Trump?
he had to. He had to. He, it was cheaper to pay them than to go through the lawsuit. That's all it was.
One, that's really weird to say.
But
Two, that's just not even
you don't
true.
take your
Like,
penis out in
Ty,
front
hold
of
up,
a bunch of people.
Ty. I'm sorry to break it to you. He was held civilly liable. It did go through a lawsuit, and the jury unanimously determined that Donald Trump sexually abused E. Jean Carroll. Okay. It's so, although even what you just said is gross, right? It was wrong. It did go through the court system.
How come it wasn't criminally liable?
Statute of limitations. Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what it is. But no, it's just bullshit. That's what it is.
What is the statute of
He
limitations?
just paid money, so wouldn't have to. It was cheaper to keep her.
What is the statute of limitations?
If you didn't live off your girlfriend, 7 years.
No. What is a statute of limitations? And I don't live off my girlfriend. What are you talking about? And also, what would be wrong if I did?
This is the problem with your generation. So the
Wait,
statute of limitations is if a
I'm
criminal
I'm
act.
sorry. I'm going to clarify that right now because I actually think that's something I want to address. You say that's a problem with my generation. Is there something wrong with like me supporting my girlfriend right now, like while she's in between getting work?
No,
No. Okay. So why would it be wrong if I were doing the same?
no, because you're a man.
So it's just the fact that I'm a man. There's no other quality. It's just the fact that I'm a man.
That's it. That's what men do.
What do men do? Tell me.
Men take care of women
Okay, well then here's my question. Do you have a
and
significant
themselves.
do you have a significant other?
I have 3 kids.
So you do have a significant other?
Yeah.
You're still together, correct?
Yes.
Um,
Oh yeah.
do you take care of 100% of the bills?
No.
You're not a real man, buddy. You're not a real man. What a dude. You're not even a man, bro. What are you talking about? Just not a man. Not a man. You don't take care of
That's not what I
100%.
mean.
You better be
So
taking care of 100% of those bills.
you
You're supposed to take care of women, right? Apparently, you're
that's
not
not how
doing
it
that now.
works.
When it comes to your own relationship, you are not paying the bills. That is pathetic, bro. Pathetic. I tell you. Get back to your
Yeah,
traditional
I
roots.
know.
Pay
I
all
know
of
you're being funny,
100% of the
but no.
bills. Okay.
It's not that. No,
Caller is not a
you
man
have to be a
based on
team.
his own
But
definition.
as a man, you don't sit at home.
It's what men do.
You don't sit at home and let her just work for everything.
Exactly, right? Yeah, you pay for 100% of the bills, right?
That's not how it works.
So to clarify, am I more of a man than you? Because
90.
wait, to clarify, am I more of a man than you because I pay for 100% of the bills?
Yeah, I guess so. If that's what you do.
Dude, I do pay 100% of the bills, but Jesus Christ, you did not just concede that I'm more
That's
of a man
awesome.
than you. Dude, first stream back, dude, already got people conceding that I'm more of a man than them. Dude, it must be the mustache, chat. It must be the mustache.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's diabolical.
That's awesome. So she doesn't work.
No.
Where do y'all live out in the country?
I live in California.
Oh, that's expensive there too. So she's in school. Is that what you said?
Just graduated. She's gonna be a teacher, and she's getting her certificates for being a teacher. But like, dude, that's the point. Like, this notion that you have of a man just immediately backfired because under your own perspective, you don't consider me more of a man.
So yes, if you're paying 100% of your bills for your girlfriend, well, you aren't married yet.
No,
Yeah, I mean, but you're paying 100%. And see, I can't prove that what you're saying is true.
but
But my wife,
I
she
know for
works.
sure.
I mean, she doesn't make as much money as I do. Okay, okay. Well, I believe you. But no, my wife, she works, but she cooks dinner. We both do. We're like a team, though.
Exactly.
But if a
Exactly.
man
Wait.
sits at
Time.
home,
Hold up. There we go. Stop where you are there.
what? No.
Stop.
If a man sits at home and lets his wife pay his bills and doesn't do shit all day long, he's a piece of shit. That's all there is to it.
Listen, any partner, if they don't do anything in a
Okay.
relationship, is not a good partner.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Do you understand what I'm saying? The fact
But
that
you made it sound earlier like she was paying your bills and you didn't do anything. That's how you started off,
no,
and then you went to this the opposite.
no.
Yes, you did.
My girlfriend.
All right, keep going. I'll listen to you. Go.
You thought I was saying that my girlfriend pays for all my bills? I don't even remember how
Well,
that could
yeah, like way early in the conversation. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay. All right, but like
So
the point I'm making is that like you don't
okay.
want to tie these types of like norms towards like gender. There's no point in doing that. Like it just doesn't provide you any
You do want
utility.
to.
No,
Absolutely.
no, you don't.
My daughter,
No, because
I
listen,
don't want.
Ty,
Okay.
listen. You understand
Okay.
that in some relationships, some people are just better at certain things, right? And you do individually what's gonna be best for the
Right.
relationship, right?
Exactly.
Like I'll do
Yes.
certain things in the household
Right.
that I'm best
Mhm.
at doing, and my girlfriend's gonna do certain things in the household because that's what she's
Yes.
best at doing, and it has nothing to do
Perfect.
with the fact that I'm a man
Yes.
and the fact that she's a woman. It has everything to do with like that's the role that we decide to
But it
play
kind of
in the
does.
relationship. It has nothing to do with gender.
So is she going to change the oil in the cars and uh, fix the vehicles or
I'm not
fix the
either.
air conditioning
I'm not
or
either. I'm not
do
either.
things around the house like get up under the house and fix the plumbing?
So,
Oh, okay.
when it comes to fixing the plumbing or doing anything in the house, that's what you call management for. Okay, you know what I mean? Like neither of us are gonna be able to do that. We're
There's
not.
no management. No, there's no management. It's just me. I just do it.
Okay, I understand, but like if you like I if you
There's no
lived in an
management.
apartment,
You don't call mommy and daddy or management. You live in an apartment.
yes.
Gotcha. Well, that's fine. I understand. Okay. Well, wait till you buy a house, man. You won't be able to. There's no calling management. There's no calling mom. There's no calling dad. It's you fix it, or it's going to cost you $2,000,
Ty, you can call someone to
and you
fix it.
learn how to fix it. But luckily,
You act like when you have a house, you can't
well, I
call someone to
know.
fix it.
Do you have? Well, I don't have to because I can fix everything.
Good for you,
That's what I do. Um,
Ty.
but what are you going to
let me
do
give you an
when
example.
you don't have any money in savings in your air? Yeah.
So like
Okay.
my mom would fix a lot of the stuff when I was a kid. She was very handy, right? And she learned that from her dad, right?
Hmm.
My dad might
Okay.
not be as
Like
handy with
what?
those types of things. So like it is the case that my mom would
Right.
oftentimes do the fixing when my dad
What
would
did
be
your
out
dad do for a
working.
living?
My dad's a doctor.
Right. What did your dad do for a living? Exactly.
What's the point?
Exactly. He can afford to pay for someone to come home and fix it.
Well,
Right. He
exactly.
didn't have to do that because he's a doctor.
Exactly, but like my
You're
mom
just you're
listen
very
listen
spoon fed.
Ty,
You've
listen
got a
Ty.
silver spoon in your mouth, and that's why you have these liberal beliefs. That's it. I'm
Ty
just telling you.
Ty
That's exactly what this is.
Ty, I grew
You
up.
have a liberal beliefs because you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. That's it. That's exactly what happened. That's what's wrong with you. But it's fine. You'll be okay.
Okay, Ty, I grew up in a conservative Christian
That's
household.
exactly what happened to you. That's why you think the way that you think.
I understand you're gonna keep saying that. Will you
That's
listen?
fine.
Will you,
But you grew up with a dollar. I bet your mom didn't work. She stayed home. You stayed home. She didn't work.
would you
And
like me
that's
to
why
like
you
speak
think
or
that
no?
everyone and their brother can call somebody to fix an $8,000 air conditioner when it breaks
That's not what I
instead
said.
of fixing it yourself.
He's not
And you're going to
listening.
make, if you don't
He's not
make a
listening.
bunch of freaking money,
Ty, you're not
or
listening.
if they didn't,
You're not listening. I'm giving you different scenarios that could exist in the context of a relationship, whether it be the fact that you hire someone to fix something, whether it be the fact that the woman in the relationship knows how to do it, whether it be the fact that the man knows how to do it in the relationship. I'm giving you different relationship dynamics and saying that it depends on the individual circumstance. Is that like crazy? Is that not understanding? Like, are you not understanding that? I don't understand really why that would be confusing. Also, like you voted for Donald Trump. Where do you think he was born? Do you think he lived with a? It wasn't a silver spoon. It was a gold spoon. Okay,
what's your household income that you make for your girlfriend and you every year?
a
Your yearly income
$1 trillion.
that you actually bring in.
Yeah, I bring in a tr-
Now,
I bring in a
what do you
trillion
actually bring? What did you file on your taxes last year?
$1 trillion.
Just be quiet. Come on now. I'm trying to get down to you. I want to know you as a person.
Okay, I'm telling you.
You don't. Okay. What did you file on your taxes last year? Not what mommy and daddy gave you to pay for your apartment.
I
What did you file on your taxes last year?
I didn't file anything. It was technically my accountant.
Well, I understand. How much dollar amount does your social security number get charged last year for taxes?
I'm not quite sure on the specific number.
That's not a hard question, dude. How
Well,
much did you make last year? Just
I,
yourself,
$1 trillion. I told you.
or does yeah, okay. So your mom and dad pays for your apartment, does all this stuff, and you get online and you have your little liberal freaking views and all that stuff. Well, I would too. I'd be just like you. I would be just like you if my mommy and daddy paid for all my whole life. I'd be just like you. I don't disagree with you about that. If my mommy and daddy paid for all my stuff my whole life, I'd be just like you.
Ty, I have a question.
I don't blame you. It's not your fault. What?
Ty, what's your yearly income?
Just me?
Y- Yeah,
Like 127?
127,000. So, like, are you saying
Yeah.
if I made more money than you, then it's not that like I'm getting everything paid for by my parents and that like I'm not making anything myself, and somehow even though I'm making more money, I'm okay with paying the higher tax rate? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, you can say whatever you want to say that you make right now, but just when I've been talking to you for the last 6 minutes, like I can pretty much tell that your mom and dad pretty much like so you probably had some down times where you could kind of afford stuff and then you couldn't. You had to call mom and dad and ask for help, and then they helped you out, and then they paid your rent a bunch of times. Or, I mean, I don't know. I just wouldn't believe you if you told me that you made a bunch of money, unless you could tell me how you made the money.
Um,
But I can see you like making some money off this YouTube,
okay.
off this TikTok stuff. I could see that, but I really honestly I think you probably have to. Your dad probably pays for your rent a lot of times.
Yeah, dude, totally,
Um,
yeah. I
you
don't
know, maybe
I
pays for your car.
don't pay for anything, dude. I just live off my parents. That's seriously it, man. Totally. Now would you like to
I
address
know that's exactly the attitude I would have right now.
so would you like to
What?
address
Go ahead.
would you
Go
like
ahead.
to
Go ahead.
address the
Let me hear
real
your let me hear your question.
so like let's address the reality that like when I lived on my parents, right? Like when especially when I was
Yeah.
like younger and I was a kid, I grew up in a Christian conservative household. I was a conservative.
You're
N-
23.
yeah, now that I'm making my own money, right? And that I pay my own taxes, right?
Okay.
It is the case that I'm more
Okay. Well, I
progressive.
asked you. You said $1 trillion. You're
Yeah.
more progressive. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
So you want to pay less taxes or more taxes?
I would like for federal taxes to be higher. I think in California, I pay a pretty good tax rate. I think that tax rate should probably be around the
Lord,
entirety of the
yes.
United States and would be better to fund federal programs because I think it's when it's specific to the state programs, we don't get as much done as if we had a federal income
What do
tax
you?
at a higher rate. And that meant to specifically fund social programs.
What do you, is that for infrastructure or social programs? You said. Oh, you said social
Both.
programs.
Both. The
So you just
in
care about everybody else?
yes.
Gotcha. And why?
Because I think about the
How come you don't
society
care about your own family instead of everyone else?
I think that me caring about the rest of society is also me caring about my own family. Because if you think about the reality of the matter is, my children
Okay.
are going to exist in a society that comes after me. Their children are going to exist in the society that comes after them. And then their
Hmm.
children are going to exist in the society that comes after them. And if you want to think about it, even if you get a ton of money,
Gotcha.
that still equalizes out after a few generations. So you want, on average, right, your
Well,
kids'
don't you?
kids to
But
be better off at least, right?
mhm.
At least on the bare minimum, let alone caring about all the other people that exist today, right? Even if you just cared about your own family, right? You could still justify, right, these types of social programs because it's better for the average person.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
Would you rather that future generations would learn to take care of themselves, or they would get subsidies from the government to take care of themselves?
I think there should be a mix of both. I think that there should be certain things that are provided by the government as a baseline, and then there are going to be certain things where people have to get them on their own.
Right. What's the baseline?
Yeah, things like healthcare,
Okay. What's the
childcare,
baseline?
yeah, healthcare, childcare, housing affordability.
You think healthcare needs to be subsidized like
Absolutely.
Canada?
Yes.
Let me tell you, I just got back from Mexico, and every single person that we ran into in Mexico, like they were all from Canada, and every single person said their healthcare sucks. They hate it. Their taxes are at 50%, income tax 13%,
That's just
sales
not true.
tax.
Not true.
They hate
Wait,
it.
if you look at their tax rates,
It is true. If you make over $250,000 a year, your income tax is 50%, and your sales tax is 13% on everything. And your healthcare sucks. They said they have to wait. I literally just spent a week with these people. I mean, you can read all the things you want to read in the articles that you read, but I just spent with 50 different people I taught a
okay,
week ago.
okay. Well, if you want to look at any of the
They
Canadians,
hate it.
hold it, listen. If you want to look at any of the Canadians in the chat, they disagree with those specific Canadians, and I would guess those specific Canadians
All right,
aren't.
let's see. Go chat. Let's see.
Look at the chat, but just listen to me, right? I would
Let's
guess
see.
this. I would guess the specific Canadians that you're referencing, right, are part of like the conservative wing, right, within the context of Canada. I'm guessing that's the
Not
perspective
true
they
as a
come from.
Canadian. Well, you don't make
Hold up, let me please
it's
finish.
not 13% income tax, it's 13% sales tax.
The point I'm
Okay.
saying is that it is the case that we should provide these universal programs as it would save us money, right? There was a Yale study shown that it would be around $500 billion a year that we would save, right, by having a universal healthcare, Medicare for all type system comparative to our current system. Plus, we'd have better average health outcomes like they do in other countries around the world, right? That's what I want to provide a baseline for every single person. Okay. That's what's most relevant
Well, how come Obama and how come Obama didn't do it? And how come the old man didn't do it?
because of Congress.
Oh,
And
okay.
And also, I'm
Well,
not
why
even
do you
saying.
think Congress
By
didn't
the
get
way,
it done?
I just want to clarify. I don't 100% agree with Joe Biden and Barack Obama. I have huge disagreements with them, and I definitely don't think they would go far enough on plenty of
Why
different
didn't they
social
get it done
programs.
though?
Say that more time.
So you're more of a Bernie Sanders So are you more like Bernie Sanders? Huh? You hear me? On mute. Oh, wait, wait. I didn't see what you were doing. I wasn't looking. Oh, you are. Holy All right, I got you. Okay. All right. I see what you're doing there. Well, how come Bernie Sanders has $1 million worth of homes?
He
He's
has
got a couple homes that are millions of dollars.
he has a house in Vermont. He has a
If he
house.
feels that way, how come he doesn't? Well, how come he doesn't just give them away to charity
He
and
has
make himself equal with every American?
he has a house in Vermont. He has a house in Washington
Mhm.
D.C. where he works, and then he has a vacation home.
Yeah, yeah. You know how many vacation homes I have?
That's fine. Did you write it?
Zero.
Did you write a
How
multi-million?
come? Well, if he wants,
Did you write books that made millions of dollars? No. Bernie has written books that made millions of dollars, right? Over his lifetime. By the way, he's in his 80s and he's accrued all of this money over his entire life. Okay. And when we're referencing the money that he's made throughout his entire life, right? That's the money that has allowed him to buy those certain things. One critique I think is legitimate of Bernie that you're not providing is that he does take private jets, right?
why doesn't he take that
Listen, let me please finish. He does take
all across the board?
Jesus
to-
Christ, man. He does take private jets, and his particular beliefs disagree with that, right? Disagree with the usage of private jets. So that's a critique I think is legitimate of Bernie. I don't
I
think
don't care
this.
about the private jets, but why does he? Okay.
Go ahead.
Why doesn't he sell all the millions of dollars worth of homes and properties he has and donate those to people who are less advantaged than him? Because that's what he votes on and that's what he believes. And that's apparently what you believe. So how come he doesn't do that?
So, as it relates to the properties, like liquidating all of his properties, uh, one because he has to work, two because he
Yeah.
enjoys some
Why
level.
not do that?
Listen, can I please finish? Is it possible I could finish?
Well, he can get an Airbnb,
Do I need to mute you?
but you don't make sense.
Okay. Well, then
You've been
keep
doing
listening.
that.
Is it fine? Can I finish?
Go ahead. You just don't make sense.
Okay. Well, then keep listening. Maybe I will. Okay. So, Bernie Sanders, right? Multiple houses. He can have some level of leisure in his house in his life. I don't think there's an issue with that. If he's advocating for social democratic policy, that doesn't mean he's advocating for a 100% tax rate. That doesn't mean he thinks you shouldn't be able to have a vacation home alongside a house that allows you to work, which is in a different state in which you
Be a
reside.
leader.
All right. We're gonna do this real quick. So yeah, yeah, I think that he's totally legitimate, right, in having like those particular places and the amount of money he has. I don't think it's extraordinarily um over the top. Like I don't think it's like Bezos type crazy. Like we're not talking about billionaires, right? His position is against billionaires, not against people who have a few million
Well,
dollars,
no.
right? So I think there's a pretty big distinction. Right. And then
Right.
in terms of the having some level of leisure, especially for people like me, like my position is that we should have a certain level of taxation in which allows us to have social safety nets, which produce a good particular outcome for the country. The only way that it would make sense in order for the tax to be implemented is if we get the benefit in social services. If we don't get the benefit in social services, it doesn't make sense to just do the taxation in of itself. And then for especially people who live in California, I think that you're meeting up to a particular threshold, especially at the higher levels of income, where it is the case that you, especially under my view, right, are paying enough to society, right, that like you are not obligated to do more because of the level of taxation. So there gets to a certain point in terms of taxation. Now that's not true for plenty of places around the U.S., but in California, that can very well be true in certain areas, depending on the area that you're in. and the level of income that you have, right? And some people, right, who actually pay the
Yeah.
tax, who aren't going and getting loopholes or paying capital gains rates or lower rates, right, are paying very high rates, and I do think they're paying enough. So uh, that's why I don't get
Yeah.
maybe a lot of the critiques against people like Hassan or something like that. Like he pays an extraordinarily high tax rate. I think it's justified under what he's currently
Right.
advocating for. Like that's so I don't think a lot of those critiques are necessarily valid. I don't think you have to give up. I don't think if you're a social democrat, you have to give up 100% of what you have. All right, that would be an absurd position.